So let's say that your patient can sit without problems, right? I walk in a room, the guy's sitting up there like this, no problem, right? So guess what I don't have to work on? Sitting, right? This is an easy game. Okay. So I don't have to work on sitting. I mean, you're already there. But what he has trouble with is standing. So I really want to address his ability to stand statically. The ability to stand statically, to attain and maintain static stance. What's that called? So maybe I want to work on stability and standing. Great, we're going to work in the parallel bars. These are the parallel bars, by the way. We work at a real cheap place. But again, when I stand, I can't just ignore that limb. You can't do it. So, do you guys know an intervention that we could use to decrease tone in that left upper extremity?
Just do the same thing about
Rhythmic rotation, right? And weight bearing would be great, and a prolonged stretch would be great, right? So we could do all three in parallel bars. So Kim, if you don't mind kind of hanging out over here and being my coach, because once we get the arm where we want it, we'll have you keep it there. So use the OT, it's going to be your job, okay? So while he's seated, I'm going to do the technique, and this is what you'll do in the comp. Same thing, we're here, okay, so we're just going to get the rotation. Where we're going to end, Margaret, is we're going to put the hand up on here. I don't know why I just called you Margaret. Margaret. Yeah, you are. I don't know why. So we're doing the rhythmic rotation, and I'm going to bring it, I'm going to get him to a point where I'm pretty close, I can feel him. Trying to release this, I'm going to bring it down to a place. We're here, we're there, so you got that good push, and there we are. So we have that good base. Now, that's addressed, I can deal with everything else, okay? So, that's the rhythmic rotation prior to the stand. Give him a break, but let's talk about the stand. What did you guys learn in intro to do for standing?
Scoot to the edge.
What's that?
Guard close.
Okay, give me more. This is gonna be a mod max assist.
I do a lot of work going forward.
Okay, so we gotta scoot forward. Did you teach you how to do that? And how do you get a patient to scooch forward, side back?
Ask him.
Well, yeah, all right, so scooch forward, he's like, I just had a stroke, give me a break. So, how can we facilitate that?
You can rock him a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do that part, but if I'm bringing your ass from way back there, it's gonna be hard. So, I do wanna bring you closer to the edge of, say you're in a wheelchair or whatever you're sitting on. So, one way that you can go about it, yeah, so, well, no, he's in a wheelchair, don't worry about it, you don't have to guard anything. So, what I might do is come this way and bring him here, and this way. So I can shift him that way if we can't get him forward, or go that. Another way to do it is you can go here and bring his leg that way. And then,
and the good thing is that kind of trains him so that when they're more able, they understand kind of like what you said.
and I'm still asking him to help. That's actually a really good point. I'm still saying, listen, try and move this cheek forward. Again, I never just do something for a patient. It goes back to that whole thing. If I'm always doing for them, there'll be no reason to self-correct. So I'll first ask them, Howard, what you said was right. Hey, try and slide forward. I'm gonna do that, but if they can't, say, all right, let me give you a hand then, and then we'll try and move forward.
Use like padded sheets if they're on them. Like
yeah, worst case scenario, you can, like if they're really a heavy
Bigger.
transfer, if they're sitting on like a chuck or something, you can do that. God, it's so much better than the last class.
1, 2, 3.
I know.
Mine was on pause when he said that. Can you say that again?
Oh, we had 2 people.
it was a pause version.
Yeah, so if they're on a chuck or a chuck is like it's like they call it a soaker pad. It's like, I don't know how to explain
I
it.
just call it that.
Yeah, it's anyway, you scooch it forward or the sheet or whatever, cushion there, I don't know, whatever.
You'll know it when you see it.
You don't know what you see. Hopefully it's not soaked. All right, let's
Gloves.
do that. So we did the rhythmic rotation. We finished here, OTs with them. We've gotten them forward this way here. Okay, what do we do with the legs?
Aligning them.
Yeah, so when we're going to do any kind of a sit to stand, help me with this legs, you're always asking to help, but we want symmetry of stance, and that's really the key to all of our sit to stands and our standing work is symmetry. All right, so we're in a good position here, we got that going on. All right, so far so good. All right, what else they teach you in intro?
If the affected side is weak, you guard that side.
Okay. For the sake of this, I'm in the bars, right? So I want to be in front of them, though. So I'm going to stick in front, but I am going to obviously pay more attention to.
You can have a mirror.
Ooh, mirrors are good. I didn't even think of a mirror. Hell yeah! Listen, when you stand up, you're going to look at yourself in that
Yep.
mirror. Okay, that's going to be a good verb, a good cue. So much better. But I am going to attend to this side a little bit more because what am I thinking might happen when they stand? So you have a guy who's had a stroke.
It
This
might
side is
buckle.
weak. So when he comes up, the knee might buckle. All right. So why don't I protect that?
So you put your knee against it.
Okay, so we can put my knee against his. That's good. All right. Ooh, I got bony knees, and so don't you. We got problems. Sometimes what I do, to be honest, it's going to sound crazy, but I'll gate belt a pillow to my knee. It works actually.
That's
really
smart.
well. Yeah, it works really well. I got bony knees, though. I got terrible. So this is like stabbing you. Yeah, this is not going to be pretty.
Did you put your foot in front of theirs?
No, because well, you see why.
Okay.
They have bars machines for that with the pads on
They
them,
do.
and then they grab it. My dad has that.
Yeah, so either they'll have it where they can put it there and then pull themselves up, or
Yep.
there's a sling that goes under.
Oh yeah.
Your father has it at home? Or-
Yeah, he had a stroke.
Do you know what it's called?
Sit to
I-
stand, ready stand.
I forget.
Is it called Sam Hall Turner?
I think so.
Long story. But yeah, so is he able to use it though? And then does
Yeah.
he come up that it kind of pivots?
No, he stands on it. Like he
So
grabs.
he comes up, he stands, and what does he do from there? Does he just stand?
Yeah, he has to practice.
Okay.
He can only do it for like 2 minutes.
How old is he?
76.
He's young. All right. So how old's the stroke?
It was last quarter.
Oh jeez.
Recent.
I didn't know that. How did I not know that? Why didn't you tell me that?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. So that was really deep. I lost my train of thought. I feel bad. I hope he's okay. So we're going to block that knee out, but when he stands though, what do your tibias need to do when you stand? Yeah, besides that, like which direction do they go in when you come to a stand? They have to come anterior in order to stand, right? So I can't, let's play this game. Put your hands like this just for a second. Okay, try and stand. Okay, that's it, try and stand, go ahead. That's actually better, all right. So, I'm gonna show off, you got me before I got him. Basically, if you don't allow the tibias to translate forward, he can't stand. So you got to allow that forward translation with the stand, and once he's up, then you'll get into it to keep it from buckling. Okay. All right, how did they ask you to stand during your sit to stands?
Push off the arm
All right,
first.
so I'm going to have you push off. I do. Well, this arm, don't forget, it's spastic, hey. All right, don't forget that. So the other arm, I am going to say, listen, I want you to really try and push off. Now, if he can't push off, if he has to pull on the other grab bar or rail rather, you know.
Would that be okay? Like,
It's not ideal, but listen, if I'm working on standing, I just want to get the guy to standing, and it's killing him to try and stand up, then yeah, I'll give him what he needs. Ideally, no, ideally he's pushing, because in life, as we get closer to normal movement, you can't pull on stuff to stand. You have to rely on your triceps and your legs. So, all right, so we're getting it. So here we go. All right, so. Now what do we do? Where do I as the clinician stand? How should I be?
Close.
All right, so here.
Big base
Yeah.
of support.
bend down like you're taking a squat.
The only problem with here is if I do this and I pull him. and
You're
I
going
go-
back.
and I overshoot, I'm going back. Conversely, if he doesn't budge, and I might go forward. So I'm gonna go more this way here, just to give me that. It's not only anterior posterior, it's also medial lateral support stability. And it allows me to use this leg how I want, so. Especially as a mod max, you're better off with a good staggered stance. I should say. Not swagger, stagger. You wanna have good stagger. Gotta have good stagger. All right, so we're getting closer, so now what do? Okay.
Oh, you instructed
Count to
me to
three.
push off.
Yeah, so we talked about all that. When I hold the gate belt, where do you hold it?
Under.
You go underneath,
Yep.
and I would go back. So if you're right on the sides, you might rely too much on it and it might ride. I usually go back and then my thumb's up, so I'm here like this, so I can almost facilitate what I want with my thumbs as I'm getting ready to do this.
Good stretch.
With my thumbs?
No.
Oh. All right. All right, so we know the drill. You're here, you're gonna come up, you're gonna grab here when you get up. Okay. We count?
3.
3.
Who does it?
Both of you.
No, I'd rather he did it.
Oh, okay.
I'll go on your 3. Most patients, I don't want to count. Okay, I'll do it then. But ideally, we'll go on your 3. So on 3 is 1, 2, and then 3 you come out.
Okay.
It's always that old question, is it 1, 2, 3, then stand? Or is it 1, 2, then stand? Let's say 1, 2, and on 3, you'll come up at the same time. All right, so, go ahead.
1, 2, 3.
Allow the translation, and then I can hyperextend.
My knee cracked.
Yeah, I know. I hyperextended his knee. You okay?
Yeah.
Good, it still works. So, but again, I allowed it to translate, then once he was up, I kicked in. Now, if these bars are too low for him, we obviously have to fix this.
We'll just pretend.
That's at least 1 point on the exam.
Well,
Alice gets.
listen, you only got what you got. So we could use the bars, but they're a pain in the butt. So let's pretend they're higher and he's standing there, that's fine. So now I'm here, okay. I got his knee locked out. As a patient who's had a stroke stands, what do you think their initial instinct is going to be?
Hunched.
All right, so they may be forward flexed.
Yeah.
And their knee might buckle. Now, I'm supporting the knee, so where would I work on? Where would I go next to start facilitating?
Tell them to straighten out their back.
Okay, and if they can't, like, what's stopping them from doing it?
Oh.
Hip.
Tightness?
No, not tightness, they just had a stroke.
Weakness in the
Weakness is more likely.
in the
So
left.
weakness of what?
Zero.
The hip.
Paraspinal.
Paraspinals and glute max. So, you know, that's where we kind of start. Now, if they're forward flexed here and there, where do I start? I mean, it would never look this bad. Maybe it would. Where would I start?
Neck.
Scallop and work caudal to glutes. How do we know that?
It's a theory.
It's a theory. It's pretty good theory, too. So I'm blocking knee. We're working on that. But that's the part that we're going to work on as the time goes. That's what the reading is. This whole comp is just the rhythmic rotation, making sure you can do an appropriate sit to stand. Oh, one more thing they might do. I know there's something. Standing, so they might be forward flex. What else might they do? If they're left
Lean
involved,
over to the left.
they're gonna,
Right.
yeah, so they'll likely do this. So
Compensate.
they're gonna take all of their weight, put it through their intact right upper extremity and right lower extremity and weight there this way. All right, so is that what you want?
No.
No. What do we always want when we get to standing?
Straight posture.
Symmetry.
Symmetry, that's the best word. So we want symmetry of stance. We want to encourage symmetry. And once we get to standing, once the upper extremity is where you want it, then we just work on symmetry. But you know how to work on symmetry already. You know what normal standing looks like. If they're not doing it, you just address what isn't working. But where do we start? That's a question. Cephalic to caudal, proximal to distal. If their knee's buckling and they're forward flexed, what do I work on first? Glute max or knee?
Glute.
Glute. So I'm gonna artificially straighten the leg and work on the glute max to stand. Hell, I may even put a brace on that knee,
I was just about to ask.
like a knee immobilizer, because if I want to focus on glute strength and trunk extension, I don't care about the knee right now. I'll cinch it up and
Could you do that? Like if he doesn't have your own actual brace, you can just go get one for
hell
him.
yeah.
Sweet.
I'll do it right now. One sec.
The immobilizers. really want the video to be like just the sounds of
Oh,
us
that's
talking
great.
to himself and like wrestling around in the car. There
What?
you go.
So this gets a little bit trickier though to stand or if you're patient to do that, you're all set. This gets a little bit trickier to do, so I'm not gonna kill you on this one. But when you're, if I know for a fact that that knee is just it's gonna buckle on them, I don't, and I know I'm gonna be working on thinking this is a little bit too big for you. That's fine. And I know I'm gonna be working on like trunk extension and hip extension, then I'm just gonna brace this guy out. Like, why use all my manpower to try and keep the knee straight when I can have something artificially do it for me? What's this brace gonna make tough though?
Standing
Yeah, to sit to stand, right? Because, you know, we always say, to sit to stand, you need knee flexion, feet under your nose over toes, all that stuff. So, is that too tight? Alright. So, this gets really tricky to do. So, now you gotta remember that when we do a sit to stand, we're doing it in a parallel bars, so it wouldn't be a rug. So I may even just have like a towel under his leg. I don't have to block that anymore because I know it's gonna be locked out with this. So Ken, if you don't mind, we got the leg where we wanted, you're pushing off, okay? So I may even have a third person just to get the leg where I need it. But so we're gonna do the same thing on 3, okay?
So 1, 2, 3.
And we come up, and I'm just gonna push it under, like I'm gonna use this to slide it under. Again, it would slide because it'd be on whatever.
Yeah.
A towel, it wouldn't be on rug, but we get this. So now, he's locked out here, that's great, he's got that. He may just be doing this stuff here, and I can focus on that with this knee locked out. And it just takes one less thing to worry about. So that would be your sit to stand. It's a lot to think about, but I guarantee you when you read 334 to 338, it talks about a knee immobilizer, a banana, everything. So.
With a smiley face on it.
That actually doesn't make sense. Did you do that, or is that like legit? I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know, I thought he was like getting old or something. So, anyway, there you go. So, listen, what I ask you to do is try to sit to stand, do the rhythmic rotation, place it, sit to stand, think about some of the things. We'll go from there, okay?
Okay.
All right.